Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Jo here. I hope you're all well. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on my video. I hope you enjoy and it gives you a little bit of inspiration on some crafts that you can do. I've got loads of different videos covering all range of different things, so hopefully there's something for everyone. If you're returning, as always, my friends, thank you for your continued support. I'm so grateful and very thankful for all the time that you've spent commenting, liking, watching my videos and sharing and subscribing. So yeah, a quick note just to let you know, the video that's supposed to be on the 21st of August, my special project that I've been working on the last month and a half, unfortunately we've had to push it back a week due to personal reasons. Me and Chantal were talking the other day, and yeah, we've had to push it back a week, so it will be not this Friday, the Friday after. But yeah, let's get into today's video. So the first thing I did was take a piece of A4 white card and folded it in half and then drew out half a shape of a palm leaf. I'm using Pinterest as a reference. I just typed in palm leaves and it came up with loads of different leaves, and I'm going to use a few different ones to get what I want. But I'm just going to cut this out with a pair of scissors, and once I open it up I'll have the shape of the leaf that I want. I did the usual thing that I always do. I was looking on AliExpress at palm leaves for a future project that I wanted to do in a couple of months. And now, because I've actually been able to make these myself, I'm actually going to do the project next week, which I'm really excited about. Now, all I'm going to do is just make the leaf a little bit more circular in shape. So I'm going to take a pair of scissors and just cut around the edges. So I'm going to be referring back to the pictures that I found on Pinterest quite a bit throughout this project, just so I know what I'm trying to achieve. They're not going to be exactly the same. I am just using a reference so that I've got the right shape and the colours and where all the bits need to go on the leaves. But once I'm happy with the shape of my leaf, I'm now going to trace around this on some A4 white card. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a project with these next week, and I think 5 will be enough for that project, so I'm going to do it 5 times. I'm also going to do an extra one and keep it for if I need to make some more of these in the future. I do have another project that I would like to use these for, so I'm just going to make sure I've got one spare, and then I don't have to go through the process of drawing out the leaf again, and I've already got it. And I've just had a quick look on the internet, on Google, and you can actually get printouts of templates for palm leaves. I don't have a printer, so I had to draw mine, but I just had a quick look just to see if you could actually get them, and you can. So if you're not confident enough to draw them, you could print them out and do it that way instead. So now I have the amount of leaves that I want to cut out for this project. I'm going to keep one to the side for a later date. I'm going to cut them out with a pair of scissors, and then we can start to paint. So I'm using a mixture of different paints. One is from B&M's and it was £2 for 500 mils, and the other one is from Poundland for a 400 ml bottle. And then I'm also using a yellow, which is again from Poundland, and it was in a set of 6 acrylic paints. I'm using a sponge because I don't want any paintbrush marks, and I'm going to just use a mixture of the 2 greens and a bit of the yellow and dab that on until I've completely covered the leaf. I'm going to make sure that I blend the colours quite a lot so that there's no big spots of just one colour. And I'm going to do this on the front and the back of each of the leaves and let them dry. I only did 1 coat on the front and 1 coat on the back, and this was plenty enough. It was covered and I was happy with the coverage. And here they are with the top of the leaves done. They're still wet, so I'm going to let them dry, then turn them over and do the other side, and again let them dry, and then we can carry on with the leaves. So here they are, front and back are all dry, and I'm really happy with how they've turned out. And now I'm going to fold them in half so I know where the center of the leaves are. I'm going to do this with all 5. And then we can start to work on adding some of the detail to the leaves. So now I know exactly where the centre of the leaves are. I'm going to start to work on the veins and I'm using, and again, another picture for reference, and I want them to be lighter than the green that we've already done the leaves in. So using a piece of card from when I cut out the leaves, I'm going to paint this using a mixture of two different greens. I'm going to use a bit of the yellow that I used in the leaves, and I'm going to add some white to it to make it a lot lighter. Again, I'm going to use a sponge to paint the card so that it doesn't leave any brush strokes, and let that dry, and then we can start to cut it up and do the veins. And once I've painted the piece of card, I'm going to use 5 wooden skewers, and these are going to be the stems for the leaves, and I'm going to use the same paint as I've done for the veins, and I'm going to paint the wooden skewers also. I'm going to just use a piece of Oasis to stand them up while they dry, and once they're dry and the card's dry, I can carry on with doing the detail. So now the card is dried, I'm going to start to measure this out. I'm going to be doing 1/2 centimetre strips, and I want to get as many as I possibly can out of this piece of card. I did paint another 2 pieces of this card in the same green, but didn't end up using them. I will keep them to one side for a future project. I'm sure they'll come in handy. So this is one of the pieces of card, and these are the 1/2 centimetre strips. And in the center, I'm going to have the strip at 1/2 centimetre, but for the veins at the side of the leaves, I'm going to actually cut some of these strips again in half so that they're 2.5 millimeters. I'm going to start off with the veins at the sides, and then I'll put the centerpiece in the middle once I've done the side pieces. I'm going to now just mark off with a pencil whereabouts I want to cut my piece of vein, and then I'm going to trim this into a small point and just trim the sides as well so that it's not so straight, just to make it look a little bit more natural. And then I'm going to glue these in place with PVA glue, and I'm going to stagger them as well. I don't want them to completely join in the center from each side. And I'm going to do all the sides first, and then once they're in place, I'll be back and I'll put in the centerpiece. So here is where we're up to at the moment. I've done them at different lengths and different thicknesses just to try and make it look a bit more real. And now I'm going to add my centerpiece. So this is 1/2 centimetre in width, and it nearly goes all the way to the top of the leaf. And again, I'm just going to trim it to a point and make sure that the sides aren't so straight. And then again, I'm going to glue that in place with PVA glue. And this is the first one done, so I'm going to do exactly the same with the other 4, and then I'm going to add a little bit more detail. I've been looking at the pictures, and I've noticed that quite a lot of the palm leaves have sections missing out of the leaves in the center and some of them at the edge, so I'm going to create this as well. I'm going to use a pencil to draw out where I want to cut out small sections of the leaves. I'm going to use a Stanley knife to cut them out once I'm happy with where I'm cutting. And I want to make sure that they are randomly placed and that none of the leaves are exactly the same, just to try and make them look a little bit more real. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to do that until I'm happy with what I'm cutting out. I'm going to cut them out, and then because I've done this, I'm going to have to do another step, which will be painting where we've cut our sections out. So because we've cut the sections out, it's left a little edge of white card everywhere that we've cut. So now just using the leftover green that I've got from painting the veins, I'm going to just go around and make sure all the white is covered up. I could have done this before I painted the leaves, but I wasn't 100% sure I was going to do this, and actually thinking about it, it was a lot easier to place these sections that I've cut out once the veins were in place. So I'm glad that I did it afterwards instead of before. So I'm just going to take my time to do that, And then there's 2 things left to do and they're finished. The last thing I want to do before I glue our skewers onto the back is I want to just fold the leaves and bend the leaf slightly just to give it a more realistic feel so that they're not so flat. And I'm just going to do some of the edges until I'm happy with them, and once all this is done I'm going to use some hot glue from my glue gun, glue the skewers onto the back, and then they're finished. And here they are. So I'm super happy with how they turned out. They came out a lot better than I was expecting them to. And yeah, I'm glad that I gave them a go. It just shows you that you shouldn't always buy everything that you want. You can make some of the stuff yourself. And like I said, these 5 are going to be in a project that I'm making next week, which will be a home decor piece. And then I will be making more of these in the future for a future project. And also I've got a feeling I'm going to be making miniature ones of these, miniature plants of these, for probably some of my dioramas in the future as well. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. I hope it's given you some ideas. I will see you on Wednesday for my next project. Take care for now.